What is up, Devs Like Us community? Welcome back to another episode of Devs Like Us. I'm Clarence. I know it's been a while. We went on a little bit of a break, but we are back. How's everybody doing?
We good. I'm good.
Doing good. Man.
Love it.
Good. Well, we have a...
Who's this guy in the top right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's this guy in the top right corner?
We have a special guest here with us today. I guess the best way to put it is, when he joined on, he kind of reminded us of being in the suites, trying to study, getting ready for a test, a final. We got our main man Donovan here with us today.
Don.
What's going on?
Yeah. Welcome. So I guess a quick little intro of him. He is a senior software engineer working as a full stack developer. His favorite programming languages mainly include JavaScript. So he's big in Node, React, and Angular. His most used programming languages right now are Java and C++. He has a plethora of hobbies, and I know we'll probably get into most of those as we talk about some of our questions, so I won't list them all. He's currently trying to learn Python, Flutter, and how to build successful Shopify apps. And some long-term goals is to teach his family how to code, work for himself full-time. I'm not mad at that. And then making his side business, Creative Energy LLC, his main business, and we'll discuss a little bit more about that. I'm pretty sure I left a lot off. So please, I apologize if I sold anything short.
Oh, no, you got it, man. That's me in a nutshell.
Yoda, teach me your ways.
Yeah.
So much going on.
Donovan was the CS, Mr. Get It Done.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hey,
By any means necessary.
Not any means, but most
means.
most means.
Some.
What's going on, Donovan?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man. Just living and maintaining, man. Trying not to spend all the money I make, trying to invest, typical stuff that trying to break the cycle, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Being smart with the money.
Yeah.
So it's been some years. So since college and those research summers at Virginia Tech, are you surprised that you're still in the game? Did you think you were going to still be using your degree this long?
Ooh, I had hoped so, but spending all that money, I was out of state too, so
True.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be programming though. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I did not think that. I feel like I love Norfolk State, but I don't feel like at that time they didn't make programming fun, and it wasn't like this huge thing it is now, where it's like people that are not even in the field are doing it, are trying to do it now. So we lucked up and got in the right field.
Yeah,
That's true.
They tried with that whole what was it, that Scratch thing when we first started learning the program, and it's just like, I can't do that. Give me something else that you deem fun, but this ain't it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think that my first programming class was it either Java or C++? I think it was Java. I think she was C++.
She was speaking Java.
Oh man, she made me hate Java.
And look at you now.
Look at you.
Can't escape.
Work. Still in
You
it.
know what? She drilled it so hard into you. You just like, all right, I accept it.
That could be it. That could be it.
It's got to be tougher in school than in real life.
yeah, that might have been it. That might have been what it was.
I know that sounds pretty good, because I feel like I had the similar path where, and Jasmine can definitely attest to this, that I feel like what we did in school, it just made it was like I never want to see code a day in my life. And I guess at that time, from a smaller scale of thinking, it was just like I know personally I didn't know how to tie what I learned in, say, that Java class to what the real world was doing. So it was such a big disconnect at that time where we had other classmates who were doing cooler things, side projects and stuff like that, where it felt like they had that key. I never found that key.
Yeah, so like Jazz and Terrence.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sitting here like, we had fun.
You talking about we were making social networks and stuff, trying to be Mark Zuckerberg.
Well,
Speak for yourself.
For real.
But so that's how you first got involved in software development. So you still in it. What do you like? What's your favorite part about software development? Would you have to say for like currently? Do you have a favorite part that stands out from the others?
Yeah. So when I build something and it works and people are using it, it's amazing. It's because like, wow, I built that. And especially like with if it's like some front end stuff, because with the back end stuff, I mean, I love it because that's where the majority of my experience is at. But when it's nothing like someone like you having this GUI interface and someone just like does some clicking of the buttons and just does the form and that's like, oh, I love this, because I'm in a space where these people are coming, like they have paper forms that they are using to do different things, and we're digitizing that, into an application. So they're always pleased for the most part.
For them, it's magic.
Yeah, like wow, this used to take days before.
Yeah.
Do you find
front end is in their face? It's like what you work on, is going to be in the customer face. They like, nah, that's exactly. You can point to what you did, not necessarily like the back end processes. So I definitely feel you on that.
Right. And then like,
were you about to?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So originally, like, because I don't know. So did you guys started out as computer science majors when you first went to Norfolk State?
Except for me, I was a computer engineer.
I was a sociology major for the first couple semesters.
Yeah, so for me, I was undecided, man. I was undecided my first semester, and then like my second semester, like I was a music major, man, because like I also like music and stuff. But like the stuff I was learning was it was like I can't pay people to learn this. Like, like I'm paying too much money to learn something that I can learn on my own. So I was about to go back like to like North Carolina and like go to one of the like a school for cheaper, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing here? But so that summer, I had went and lived with my sister because my mom didn't want me to get in trouble or whatever where I was from. So I had found a job selling kitchen cutlery. So I don't know if you guys familiar with vector marketing. So I was actually doing that though. Yeah. And then,
all my friends be hitting up my parents. Hey, Pew, your parents would have.
Yeah, but just imagine doing that and you don't know people in the area. This is my first time in Northern Virginia, right?
True.
So I had to like deal with my sister's friends, but luckily they were nice enough and like had a decent amount of money at that time to let me, at least pitch them, on this stuff. So one of the guys, my sister's friend, had actually majored in computer science, and he was talking about it. Like, I heard you in school. Like, I was like, yeah. Say, what you majoring in? I said, music. And he's like, music. And that hurt me even more when he said it. I was like, oh.
It's like, dang, for real?
Yeah. So he was like, man. He's like, man, you need to be in computer science. So I was like, yeah, I always liked computers, but I heard it was a lot of math, and that was intimidating to me at that time. And it still is to a degree, but whatever. So like I was talking to him and he was basically like, anything that has a lot of math now or anything that requires you to work harder in school now is going to pay off for you later. And it's going to be easier for you later. All these people with the easy majors right now, they're going to have it hard when they get out because that's how.
That's definitely a bell ring right there.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had anybody ever say anything like that before. That's real.
It's real.
Dropping down.
So that opened my eyes a little bit, and I was like, work hard. But then I was still not connected in. And then he showed me his pay stub. I was like, okay, I'm about to switch my major. Like so like, I went back. I had locks. Matter of fact, I cut my locks. That was like for some other reason, but it also that. And then I went to the computer science building, signed me up, and it was a wrap ever since.
Nice.
Yeah. And I had internships every year after that too.
Yeah, you did. But it's great that, you were able to meet someone who, kind of spoke that into you of like, hey, if you like computers, if you want, you should do something like this instead of, music, not to knock like the music field or anything.
Yeah, no,
but there's a lot that can be learned. And the same with computer science now, but there's a lot that can be learned, offline, as far as not being in the school and, sitting in that class, because if you're willing to do the footwork and reach out to the right people, you can learn those things. And so
Right.
it's dope that he, was, really trying to help you see that, hey, this is where it's at. And, luckily it worked out for you and you had the technical mindset to even, push through, because there's some people who do that same change and they get in there and they're just like, this ain't it. This ain't what I thought it was. And,
Yeah,
they
because
just get out
they
real
didn't
quick.
really want it. They didn't really want it. And then they didn't like, because I remember like I stayed after for tutoring. I remember having those study groups like, yeah, we got to get this done, man. We don't understand what's going on. Like it was tough. It was tough, but made it through.
Yeah, I remember those study groups, like a whole half of a class just in one apartment in the suites, just like, all right, so this is
You
what we're
got
gonna do.
this.
How did you get that? And yeah, all that stuff. So yeah.
Man, it was crazy. Y'all those math classes too. Shoot.
So one thing I wanted to talk about was, we've kind of talked about how you moved from, college into a career. Do you want to share anything about like your career development process and, how that went as far as, kind of what field you started in? Because I know you're a full stack developer now. Were you a full stack developer then, and, your progress from there?
Right. So like I said, I had like different internships doing different things, everything from like IT stuff to system admin stuff, which is still IT, and then like the research internship, so stuff like that. I tried to avoid programming for the most part as an intern, except for the research one, right? But my first job was working for my first job was working for Accenture, right? So they're like a consulting firm. So I did not like that at all. I hated it because I was doing Excel spreadsheets. I was like, yo, I have a computer science degree and I'm like doing Excel spreadsheets and these majors. Yeah, well, no, not even so. I'll get to that. I'm gonna get to that, right? Yeah, so doing Excel spreadsheets and doing reports, like and doing some graphs and stuff. I was like, man, this can't be like because these same people with these business majors were doing the same thing as I was. Granted, they were from like these crazy prestigious schools or whatever, but I was like, this is boring. But Accenture itself was fun, but the work I was doing, I did not care for because I was in the commercial space too. So it wasn't like they used to outsource their tech, like their actual heavy tech stuff. And so we would be doing more of the technology analyst type work. But towards the end of that, what happened was working with macros and learning visual basics and figuring out how to automate these things. I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. The same stuff that took me like hours to do, like I can just push a button and it just does it for me. I'm like, this is programming? This is programming. Like, so I'm like, yo, I kind of want to do this. So long story short, parted ways with them, end up going into, at this time, I ended up taking a pay cut to actually do software development because I wanted to do it so bad. So took a step back.
Hold on, Don. Say that again. Say that again. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I took a pay cut because at that time it's like I didn't have any experience programming, so I had to like go from, and I also moved. By the way, I was that job was in New York, so I came down to Northern Virginia, so that added to the pay cut too. So it wasn't just like software developers were making less. It did have also that the cost of living stuff, but so it was like in research and development, and they were building something cool. They were building like this GPU database system, which is a database that works in parallel processing and stuff like that. And at the time, that was revolutionary because it was using NVIDIA GPUs to do this. And this is before NVIDIA blew up with stock and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this is before people had a lot of like Stack Overflow questions about it. So it's like I'm learning this stuff like groundbreaking stuff, but it would take forever to learn how to do like some simple crap. You had that documentation wasn't as good as it could have been, but it was good enough. And we were basing our code based off of this open source project from some foreign guy. But needless to say, like I love that. Like I spent like you talking about like more than 40 hours a week doing that. Like I'll say like 60 to 80 and just grinding. And I did that for like 3 years. And then I finally like was like, you know what? Let me see what else is out there. And then I started to look at like I think it was Glassdoor, and I looked at what people were making. I was like, like I gotta go.
Glassdoor will wake you up because you kind of get in the mindset of kind of like this small tunnel vision, and then all of a sudden, like if you are signed up, and I'm pretty sure now you are signed up for like the emails and stuff like that. But when they're like such and such is making this in the area, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know it was time for a job hop.
Yes. So that right there was a lesson to me. So. Like I literally, so after that, like if I wasn't happy at a place or if I felt like I could make more somewhere else, I moved. So you looking like I did a year and a half here, year and a half there, and I realized like I increased like my salary, like I doubled it. I doubled it from there. Yeah, and that was in like 4 years.
Nice.
And just imagine, so people are getting these 2.5 raises just staying at the same place. And that's if you perform well. You know what I'm saying? They just keeping you up with inflation. So if you're not getting at least 2.5, then it's like your dollar is worthless at that point.
Right. And if you're on their benefits, the benefits go up at the same time. So it swallows that 2.5 easy.
When you learn that.
But I would like I'm glad you said that though, Donovan. You dropped a lot of jewels there, gems there. So the fact that early on you were willing to, like early in your career, we'll say like early in career, we know you've been at it like
forever
a lot. You have a lot of experience, but like early on you were willing to take that pay cut just so you could like get those pay raises that you want. I don't know, sometimes we're seeing things when people like aren't taking the value of like an internship where you might not be getting paid as much, but that experience, like how
it's invaluable.
For sure.
Can you like stress to the listeners who might be looking like, or early in the career, like how important like certain experiences are when you're looking to craft and build that resume before you can get that that double your salary?
Yeah, so definitely. So here's what I always did is I look at the position I want in 2 years and I see what experience they want for that job. So I start to figure out like how can I at my current job get that experience about what type of jobs I can do that's under that will give me that experience. So if they're talking like right now, if I were to look, say they want like some Kubernetes experience or some Docker experience or experience building Jenkins pipelines or Spring Boot, I look at that and I say, how can I make my job? Like sometimes your job is not going to do that. So you got to do like outside projects then. It's just simple and plain. You got to just YouTube it out. There's Udacity, there's Udemy, there's like a whole, like a code school. It's no excuse right now. Like
getting me hyped over here.
Yeah.
I'm about to go on CodeAcademy.com right now.
Code Academy. Yeah. It's no excuse right now. Like you literally can learn anything you want to learn, and then some of it's for free. Like most of it's for free. Right. So and then like you said, those internships. Like when you're in school, I think internships are key, especially if you're not going to like an MIT or like one of the top 10 schools for that particular field. You gotta have internships in order to be competitive with these people. Right. So definitely, I would say take advantage of like internships early on.
Yeah, because I mean, your internships allow you the opportunity to, put into practice what you've learned. What you've learned is just in a general case. It's not you exploring even the full depth of whatever that topic may be. But once you get into like, sitting in an office and someone's like, hey, take this legacy piece of code that we have, and now I want you to make some changes to it. You're going to get in there and see some stuff that you just like, we kind of glossed over that, but, I didn't really know what that was. Well, now you're going to find out, type of thing. And so I I'm definitely an advocate for, the students getting out there and just taking the time to, get those jobs and things. Because I mean, yeah, it's cool to hang out with your friends in the summertime, but if you learning a lot to, excel your career later, and you're also making a little extra cash on the side, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like computer
And
science internships are better than minimum wage. Are you making like double minimum wage? Like,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like
so
if you
like,
got a
why
ten
wouldn't?
And
thousand dollar summer,
Yeah, like
And,
it's no brainer for me.
right?
yeah. And to be honest, like one thing I picked up on that you said, Donovan. So like one thing I've learned, and I don't know how y'all's experience were. So there are there's good talent going out of like these top 10 schools,
Hmm.
but I bet you there's some things that the employers are seeing in you all as far as like being able to talk and communicate and have personal skills and know the tech
mhm.
that you don't always see in like these top 10 schools. Like there'll be times where like you'll end up getting called for stuff like when there's the business people in the room and like we need somebody technical to explain stuff, but also have like a personality that's not cutthroat saying like, you know how some people would get so upset just
Yeah,
because someone might not understand
they
something.
said
Like
something
Right.
the wrong
those
way.
like yeah, what are your personal like, and then you've already said like you've had that experience time where you were put, I think this might have been before the show, before we start recording, but you were basically talking about you were in some positions where like you were kind of like in those meetings like where the decisions were getting made and you had to like explain stuff and you were kind of like running the team. Like do you feel as though there were some things you had from like selling knives and like switching
True.
majors
True.
to where you had
Yo,
your
so
grind is kind of like coming out?
yeah, that's key. So especially like so before like Cutco, right? Like I wasn't shy, but I had like a more country accent,
Yeah.
and like I didn't really like I'll stumble over my words and stuff like that. So I definitely learned how to talk to people. I mean, you're selling knives door to door, you know what I'm saying? So that's one like marketing. I think that's good for everybody. Like learning how to market or and sell yourself and whatever product you have. So that was key. And one thing I did have over like somebody that's just in the books and in on a computer. So that definitely helped. And then like so my the first programming job, it was this me. Well, she's not meeting me. I joke with her now, like, because I still in contact, networking, right? Um, but it's like she used to like. I felt like she was picking on me every meeting. Like like people would say what they would do, right?
Hmm.
But when it got to me, I would say what I did, and then she would have a rebuttal. She would like ask me more questions. I'm like, what the? So I had to like learn how to explain myself, like, and elaborate even more, like to where like even she could get it, you know.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that definitely was some good
Was it
experience.
one of
I
those?
hated that.
Hey, Terrence, you're on mute.
Yeah, you
Uh,
muted.
Sounds like one of the professors you was talking about earlier. She was preparing you.
exactly.
She was preparing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to ask is like, do you feel as though it was more so not her, misunderstanding whatever you were saying, but more so like trying to pull it out of you because she saw it in you, like, hey, I want you to be able to explain this in, to any and everybody. So make sure you know your stuff when you come to the table.
I mean, I can look at it like that way now, but it didn't seem like that at all because uh, at the time it wasn't a lot of colorful people in those spaces, so it felt like I was being picked on a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's that subconscious stuff. Like it might not even be that. It might just be like you're the new guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get asked multiple questions. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely prepared me. And as well as Norfolk State. Norfolk State prepared me for a lot. Um, and I love the culture and all of that stuff. I wouldn't trade going to HBCU for nothing. So
Nothing at all.
Yeah, it was the experience of a lifetime for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. And so you kind of hit on, the networking and stuff like that. Um, for your career, you've kind of taken us through the whole span of your career. How important was your networking ability for how you've like climbed the ladder of your career?
Wow. So I was lucky that my first I don't want to say lucky, but because at the time I felt unlucky, but like being at those big consulting firms, you have to network to get your next gig. Like if you don't network, you're going to be on the bench too long, and then you're going to be let go. So that's all they preach is network, 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 network. I was like, what in the world is this? Like I just had an interview. I got an interview to get another like project. This is crazy. So that did prepare me, like, and did open me up to be able to talk to someone that's like above my level, you know what I'm saying? And just have this conversation was like, oh, what do you do? Okay. This is what I do. Like I always wanted to do that. You know, just going back and forth and having that convo. And then but then I was at another consulting firm that also prepared me for that. Definitely networking is key. And then if you look at my friend group up here, it's full of like all different nationalities. And like if I didn't network before, it would have been just like, you know, African American, which is nothing bad with that, but in our space is not a lot of African American. So it's like
it's everybody but
yeah. It's almost like it's super important to be around different types of people because, you know, in the actual workspace, like you mentioned kind of earlier, you know, you'll look around and nobody looks like you. So, you know, if you don't know what to say to certain people, they might look at you weird, or, you know, you might get that call from HR to say, excuse me, you you said such and such to so and so at the coffee pot, and they felt offended, and you're like, really? He said, she said like multiple things that offended me, but I never thought to, you know, to report that. But now I got your number, I'll call you.
Yeah, and it's just a learning and growing process altogether because, I mean, you know, you're learning different cultures, and so it helps expand upon your ability to speak to various people as you go throughout your career. Because you're speaking to customers who may be of different nationalities, different backgrounds, you know, different social status and things like that. And so having that ability to even converse with, you know, your peers within the office space is monumental for extending beyond.
Right.
Flow, girl, flow.
You know, I try.
Right. That's key, man. Networking is key, man. Because what's that saying they have? It's not what you know. Sometimes
who
you know.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true.
For sure.
All right, Donovan. So we know you work hard. What's up with the side gigs? You got what's the side gig like? They say you're not living unless you have a side hustle, side gig,
that's what
side business, side empire.
Yeah, that's what they told me. So I had to get one, man. So matter of fact, so when I was living in New York, that's what gave me had me wanting to be an entrepreneur. But I think in this space, because like we're highly paid, it's hard to just quit your job and do something on it, because that thing has to be making at least like 75% of what you made at your job, like for you to even feel like comfortable doing that. So you become, I don't want to say it's not a slave to the money, but it's like that the money does have a little bit of control over you. Into where like if somebody was working at McDonald's and they started like another gig, it was just like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? But
it's that fear of losing stability.
Yeah. So I started a business. It was an entertainment business up there in New York with some people in North Carolina. But that didn't work out too well. But you know, I'm still friends with them or whatever. But so this new business, the side business I have is like definitely a combination of all my hobbies. I'm into photography, videography, web design. So I just combined all those things and said, I'm just gonna have an LLC and do this. But what happened was like COVID, right? So I started business December of 2019. So
oh man.
It's so like, I know you got plans, but
like get that, like. But it's been a good experience because I get to learn some new stuff outside of what I'm working on. You know, I've always hated WordPress, but now like in order to build things for people and have them do updates themselves, that's like you need that content management system, and WordPress is second to none. Like with doing that. Another thing I realized was with that was people want like a lot of different features, right? So that like Shopify, you got web.com, you got Squarespace, all of these things now like a web designer has to compete with, which is crazy, right? So I'm learning about innovative ways to compete with those people, and also try to partner. Like, and that's why spoke about the Shopify apps. So if I can't get you like with build website directly for you, boom, you can download my app on Shopify, which is something that I've been looking into. But for the most part, the thing that's been kicking off the most is videos, music videos. That's been the most like profitable thing so far, which is the most work. So like,
I feel like there's some links you want to drop with some sites, some
name pages. plug your name in.
Yeah. So it's Creative Energy. Energy is spelled INNERG.com. That's, you can hit me up on there. And then social media is also at Creative Energy, all one word. So yeah. I'm just trying to make it, trying to do it, trying to make these hobbies amount to something,
Make them work for you.
Yeah, make them work for me. And like, cause the overall goal is to have people doing this for me. Like, I like doing this stuff. But time management, man, is very important right now.
True.
And cause I want to do so many things. But I don't, it's only 24 hours in a day. So it's like, I can try to get up early and, work out and then get this done and get this done. But, I can only do so much. So you got to outsource some things. That's what I'm learning. And I learned that by, reading books about like productivity and stuff like that. You got the different philosophies and, like Pareto's principle or Parkinson's principle or, so.
Yeah, I feel like the more you study like successful people, and as you mentioned, kind of like the older you get, the more you realize how much stuff is delegated. I mean, it's at a point where you look at some people and you wonder, do they even go to the refrigerator and fill their own water cup? Like, do they pay somebody to do that so they don't waste time, doing something as minimum as that?
Right. And I was told, like, I haven't read the book, but I read an excerpt of this book. It's called 4 Hour Work Week, but they said that's really good book for productivity if you want to be like increase your productivity and do stuff, because it speaks about the Pareto's principle, which is like basically another way of saying like the 80-20 rule, where they're saying like 20% of what you do is the most important, and it can amount to the 80%. So 80% of what you're doing, it doesn't even matter. So if you focus on that 20% of your productivity, you can increase it. And and they're saying that it's the same way with different laws of nature. If you look at like different plants, like 20% of the plants that you plant might be the most have the most yield, or 20% of your employees are the most high performing and produce the most sales and have the high performance ratings than the 80%. So if you just focus on honing those 20%, they'll do more for you than the 80. Or like companies with different products where like only 20% of your products produce the most sales and produce more sales than the 80%. But yeah, so it was like it's interesting to think about how these different economists and social scientists like think about stuff and how they saw different patterns and things, and how you can use it in your own life to increase your productivity.
Yeah, because I mean, to us, everything's so big that it's like, how are y'all catching these patterns, amongst the things? But it's also, again, with the focus, they're focusing on their particular space. So, we're focusing on the economy. I'm focusing on the socioeconomic piece. And so, it's all these different things coming together to, just kind of show you that that piece. And so, we talked about your side hustles as far as, creative energy, but, we've heard talk about you thinking about the podcast and all of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
so what made you want to get into that space?
So just so I have like, because like I read more now, and I'm looking at different people's opinions and comparing it to my own, and then comparing it to things I've always grew up hearing, and like it's conflict. I'm like, hold on, like is this really like real, or is this just like feelings? So like after doing like research on topics like history and topics like politics, it's like I'm like, yo, I don't like really what's going on out here. I don't like the direction certain things are going in. So I was like, I have an opinion. I want to speak on it, but that time management, I was always busy with it. And then I start to see people, I knew with podcasts like you guys yourselves. I was like, wow, they're doing it. They're giving me confidence, like that's what's up, man.
That touched me.
Yeah.
Inspiration, guys.
Yeah.
We was always falling behind Donovan in school. Now he said we might have inspired him a little bit, man.
Y'all inspired me, man, for real. Yeah. And then and then I always wanted to talk about either financial literacy stuff or social issues. Those are the two things that I argue with my friends the most about anyway. So it's like, let's talk about it.
Carry them up.
Yeah. So I guess I gotta flip. I know one of the questions we have listed. I'm gonna flip it a little bit based off of everything we've kind of talked about, because you've dropped a ton of gems. I'll be honest with you. Like I think what we gave you and what you presented, it has surpassed that. So let me see if I can try to bubble this up in a better way of asking.
Okay.
Initially, the first question was going to be, do you think with your profession and basically with all your experience, did you think getting a formal education was actually needed? Why or why not? But my flip side is that basically after all the experience you have gained from reading, research, and stuff like that, and you can answer both questions, whichever one you want to do, is however you want to do it. But do you feel like if you knew what you knew now, would you rather take that knowledge of now and go back to school to do things differently? Or do you think everything that you have done up until now, kind of everything fell in place?
Nah, let me answer that first part. We ain't going back to school.
For real.
Did he say going back?
Yeah, I made it up.
Go ahead, answer.
Nah, well, I think everything happens for a reason anyway. So I probably would have ended up in the same place. But one thing I wish I could have done differently is I would have stayed and got my master's, because I had applications filled out, all of this stuff. I had the full ride ready to go for the master's program, and I got a job in New York, and all my aunts and all my family was like, you better take that job. I was like, oh, man. All right, yeah. So
it's New York.
Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't, I'm a country boy, like New York. I was like, I want to go up there. But so that it was a good experience. But that I would have liked this, to see that out. So I see that through, because during that research internship, they taught us about that master's program and like how key it could be. So they had me hyped for it a little bit, and then when that job came through, and it was more money than I expected to make, like right out of school too. So I couldn't complain about it.
That small town country boy saw them bright lights, so it was like, you gonna pay me for it too?
Yeah, no, that definitely was a way. That was a culture shock too, like going up there and living. Luckily, I had some family up there that I stayed with in Long Island for about like a few months, and then I had moved to Brooklyn. And that's why I stayed until I left. But one thing about that, like it was a consulting gig, so I was always gone. So I'm paying New York rent, but I'm never home. I was flying from Monday. I'll fly out Monday morning, to wherever it was. I'm talking about St. Louis, Pennsylvania, like, anywhere. And that Thursday night, I fly back out. And that's every week. I'm like, yo, and I'm scared of planes. like, like, this is the worst job ever.
Like, I need somewhere to stay put.
Yeah. So that definitely, like, that was my first time flying too for that job. Like, and it was like every freaking week, 2 times a week.
I be looking at them job descriptions now, and they be like, "Oh, 30% travel. That's a lot."
Yeah.
And yours is probably more than that.
Yeah, no,
so
it was
like 60.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. It felt like a lot.
So, with your dislike for travel, how you feel about the remote work? Being able to kind of stay put and actually live in your space, right. Things like that.
So I always wanted to work remote, but now, well, the first part is, so when I first started working remote, I was like, this is ridiculous, because you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, yo, like literally, I started a new job,
right in the pandemic.
Yeah, it was March. It was March of last year. But I was thinking this was gonna be like some swine flu type stuff, or like Ebola, like some stuff like that. It wasn't gonna bother the US, you know what I'm saying? So get the job, and they announced like everybody's working remote from now on. Like, not now on, but like that we're working remote till further notice. So I've never physically met my team, like, ever. Like, I've only seen the office one time, and that's to pick up my laptop. So this is a different experience for me. So they definitely, leadership definitely did a good job of making us feel like, it's all one team and stuff like that. Cause we had like virtual happy hours, and then, we do like a couple of like little games every now and then. So they tried. We do the Slack, and then we use WebEx and Teams, because that's what the client likes. But yeah.
So would you say, now that you've done it, would you want a hybrid option or just a completely in-office option, since, working from home is not, like, full-time is not your thing?
Hybrid, definitely hybrid. So like Friday working from home, and maybe Monday working from home. Those are 2 work days for me. Yeah. So if I could do that, that'd be ideal.
Yeah.
Are those Mondays and Fridays? Are you gonna work from the coffee shop, like the ideal dev that everybody thinks?
Yeah, no, I can't. The internet is not like real good for me. Like when I do that, so, and then you're doing VPN time, like it's a nightmare. Yeah, and you got to worry about somebody peeking over your shoulder, like,
oh, what you doing there?
Yeah. Like I do
Panera emails and get out.
Mm-hmm. It's more to start the day as opposed to being there all day.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also like our products kind of, it didn't suffer a little bit, but it was we had to move things back a little bit, because some of the stuff they wanted to talk about with us is in the cleared space. And if you can't get into that skiff, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, they don't want to talk about it. Just figuring out that. Tougher. Yeah, that was kind of difficult.
That's what's up. I don't have any more questions.
Yeah,
he done answered like 3 of them in one response.
Oh well,
He's smart. That's a good thing. Nah, you efficient. You efficient.
I feel so inspired. I might, just stay up the rest of the night working some stuff.
Yeah, you motivated me.
I do have one more question. I'm always known for always having the last, always have one more thing to say. But I think you really preached heavy on having a bigger picture, and one thing I definitely want our audience to kind of be able to kind of focus on is how you developed your own personal bigger picture. But I guess like the biggest thing is, what would you tell our listeners, as far as like when it comes to picturing that? Because like you said, you took a salary cut to learn the experience that you need. And that's pretty big, because you see a lot of people doing that now, even like sports people who like, I think I forget the person's name, but they went to work for a fast food restaurant because they wanted to own that business, and that kind of thing, like this little small groundwork. So what is something that you would leave our listeners with, as far as like understanding their own bigger picture, and just like just some encouragement? Because when you're in that lower part, sometimes you forget why you're doing it, and you're like, oh, forget this, I could be doing bigger and better things. But how do what's some advice you would give them?
Like, you're in control of your life, man. You can't like blame nobody else or no government for your shortcomings if you're not doing anything to alleviate that. Like if you want it, go get it. Figure out like your ideal job. If you want a job, figure out your ideal like your industry you want to be in or start in, and figure out what it takes to get there. And then one at a time. Sometimes you got to make smaller goals. Just knock them out. Just do that. It's going to be like a snowball effect. You can't get hung up on what people say you can't do. You just got to try to do it. And I mean, and then with that experience, you can say, oh, these people stopped me or whatever like that. But if you never try to do it and all you did was listen to these voices, these naysayers, then like you're hurting yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice, because everybody has genius level talent in them. You know what I'm saying? We just got to unlock it. And I think, especially like with African Americans, we've been down for so long that we starting to like it. Like we starting to feel like, okay, this is it's always going to be this way. And that's you can't have that mentality and succeed. You can't. You gotta be some hope.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't think there's anything. I'm glad.
I was about to say this episode was brought to Donovan by hope.
Hope and
dreams. Well, did you have any questions for us? If not, we could, go ahead and close out. I know you're a busy man. You probably got a business already working on. You're like, all right, guys,
do some editing real quick.
I always got time for you guys, man. I feel like early in my career, like just meeting you guys like inspired me anyway. Just like I remember studying with you guys. I remember having it was my second internship, but it was just like just going through that whole experience, and even at the class, it was cool, man. I liked it, man. It definitely inspired me to like want to do more, especially Jazz. Like I feel like she would do stuff so easy, it would frustrate me. This is why she's so good, yo. Like this is crazy.
Don't worry,
so
I'm
I was
struggling.
trying to figure out like how to do it, man.
I think she's a wizard.
Yeah.
Like literally told us the steps. We did as she told us, and then didn't want to work with us.
It's like, what are you doing? Just do that worked.
So I just want to thank y'all, man, for just being who you are, man, and just having this space for devs like us.
Yeah. One thing I will say is Donovan,
he be closing it. Hey, he be closing
right. He just like shut it down. It's like devs like us. All right, let's just cut it right here. Right. It's like we don't even need nothing else.
Is this that plug? Like, subscribe, and comment. Have a good night, y'all.
Right. We ain't even got to say it. Just put it up there at the top, and that's it. But one thing I want to say for you, Donovan, is seeing your dedication and your push to learn. Because like you said, even on those days where you're just like, it's not making sense, I'm just not getting it, you still were like, I'm not going to stop just because I'm not getting it. It was like, right. Hey, I'm going to talk to whoever I got to talk to get this thing done. And, we're going to make this thing work. And so seeing that dedication really helped. Because, even with our conversations, it was like, all right, I'm going to, try and help you in those moments, but that's also helping to reinforce it for me. So it was all one of those cycles, and it really helped. And also seeing how your mind worked, as opposed to ours, because again, that helped with learning how to work with other people as you go throughout your career and things. So definitely want to, give you that shout out. So
yeah, for sure. Kudos on all your success.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
Appreciate
you're Mr. Entrepreneur DC.
Man, I don't know how long I'm gonna be up here, but too much longer. The prices, man. I was looking at my housing prices. It was like, I don't know, man. Northern Virginia is kind of like, maybe I should go to the Maryland side. I think I don't know, man.
It's no better.
It ain't that much better.
It ain't.
You mean?
Nah.
Because
it's a little bit better, but it's not like.
Yeah. Going back to the 7.5.
Hey, welcome back. I'm still here. No.
Parents got a nice backyard and everything. I said, you got land.
Oh man, see, that's the drink. So originally I was trying to get a job there. But it's like every job I looked at, you needed 5 years of experience.
Oh yeah. So it's funny you mention that, because when I first left my first job, that's what I felt like I ran into all the time. And if before I didn't like you mentioned earlier, as far as like looking at the jobs and knowing what you should get, I'm just coming out with the experience I had. So when you see like that 5-10 years, it's just like, whoops, can't get that one, can't get this one, can't get that one. And then all of a sudden, like I met somebody who was just like, just apply. What do you have to lose? And you get to the interview and it's like, you print out what they asked for, which is like 3 sheets, and they only ask you like 2 questions off the whole thing. And it's like, so what can you bring to us? And you're like, oh, is this my time to shine? Like.
Right. That's key too, man. Nothing venture, nothing gain.
That's nothing like what you had on the paper. Anybody can do this part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a guy tell us one time to say, if you want a Superman, you should have told me to bring my cape.
For real. I don't think it's even technical people writing those job recs either. No. It's just like it's random like PM, like just like, okay, we
give me all the technologies we're doing, and I'm gonna put it in this one job description. So that's not how this is supposed to work.
One of them had one of the JavaScript frameworks that's been around for 5 years. They said they wanted you to have 10 years of experience.
Like, or just
it's like, this thing ain't even been around 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, Donovan, I appreciate the time.
Yes,
thank you for all the knowledge, man. You motivated me. I gotta leave here and do something.
Right.
Hey, man.
I can't just go to bed.
Each one teach one, man. Y'all motivated me, so let's do it, man.
Yeah. All right, Clarence, you want to close us out?
Yeah. So again, Donovan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your knowledge, your gems that you dropped on this episode. We know that our viewers and listeners will definitely, grasp a lot from this. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And again, we're glad to be back. So we'll see you on the next episode. I'm Clarence.
JB.
Terrence.
Peace, y'all.
Go ahead, Donovan. Get in there. Donovan.
Thanks for listening.